The novel coronavirus, or COVID-19, has officially been declared a pandemic. Companies are having employees work from home, large public gatherings are being discouraged, and toilet paper is now valuable as gold. For theme park enthusiasts, some dark times are ahead. Speaking to the United States alone, many regional parks aren't open yet, so it was already a tougher time of year for enthusiasts to get on some coasters. But there are some options in warmer climates. However, the pickings are even sparser now as the parks proactively try to help prevent the spread of the virus by closing. Originally, the major chains intended to stay open, with more stringent cleaning regimens, but over the past few days they all decided to close until the end of March. The chains deciding to close until the end of March are Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, Six Flags, Cedar Fair, Hershend, and Legoland. Some independent parks have also announced their closure. This includes Nickelodeon Universe at the American Dream Mall in New Jersey and Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. But there are still some smaller parks and roller coaster options remaining for us enthusiasts. Now keep in mind, this list is only accurate as of this morning. And for the perspective of this list, I'm only going to talk about parks with at least one sizable coaster. I'm going to skip those indoor family entertainment centers with those SBF spinners we love so much. In the Northeast, our best bet are the alpine coasters at ski resorts. My personal favorite in the region is the one at Attitash, but unfortunately it appears to be closed for the year. However, there are some that are still open, including the ones at Killington, Okemo, and Gunstock. In the Mid-Atlantic, your best option is the mountain coaster at Wisp Resort. This is one of the better mountain coasters out there thanks to a sizable double down halfway through the ride. In the Southeast, you have the 3 Fun Spot parks. Each park has at least one multi-level go-kart track, plus an assorted mix of other rides and attractions. From a coaster perspective, their Kissimmee location reigns supreme thanks to Mindblower and Hurricane. But the Orlando park isn't too far behind with White Lightning and Freedom Flyer. And while the Atlanta park lacks the wooden coaster, Screamin' Eagle is an aggressive little ride with some surprising airtime. Georgia also has a mountain coaster that remains open in Helen. This is another coaster I've yet to experience, but I've heard good things about the ride and the town it's in. In Tennessee, it appears the mountain coasters remain open. My personal favorite in this region is the insane single rail one at Anakeesta. The laterals on Railrunner are among the most powerful of any coaster. In Alabama, the park at Owa remains open. This is a newer park with a large collection of Zamperla rides, including a clone of Coney Island's Thunderbolt coaster. In Texas, you have 3 options. In the Houston area, you have Kemah Boardwalk and the Galveston Island Historic Pleasure Pier. Kemah Boardwalk is noteworthy for the awesome Boardwalk Bullet Coaster. And Galveston has Iron Shark, a cool lap bar only Gerstlauer Eurofighter that goes over the water. In the western portion of the state, you have Joyland in Lubbock. This is another park I have yet to visit, but they have 3 coasters, including the only Cavaza Diego coaster in this country. That may not be a good thing, but it's noteworthy. And if you cross the border into New Mexico, you'll find Western Playland. Yet another park I haven't been to, but they have 4 roller coasters and a nice looking flat ride collection. Moving on to the Midwest, Branson, Missouri has 2 nice alpine coasters that remain open. Of the 2, I prefer the Runaway thanks to its heavily wooded setting. In Minnesota, the Mall of America remains open, and that includes the Nickelodeon Universe theme park. This indoor park feels like an outdoor park, and I mean that as a compliment. With all the landscaping, you really feel immersed. The park has 5 coasters, several interesting flat rides, and most notably the Log Chute, one of the best log flumes in the world with its tall drops and theming. In Denver, you have an assorted collection of mountain coasters, and more notably, Glenwood Caverns. This is a park high on my bucket list as I've heard nothing but good things about it. Not only does it have 3 coasters, but it also has caves to explore, the haunted Mine Drop indoor drop tower, and the giant canyon swing that literally slings out over the cliff. In California, you still have a few smaller options. Belmont Park in San Diego remains open. This is a small park with some flats and the historic Giant Dipper. Giant Dipper may not be the best coaster, but it is a step back in time. You also have another seaside park in Pacific Park at the Santa Monica Pier. Like Belmont Park, this is a small park right up against the ocean. And I know people usually don't talk about the West Coaster, but I actually enjoy it. The ride is glass smooth, offers some beautiful views, and the big drop has some good floater airtime in the back row. In the northern half of California, you have the Ridge Runner Mountain Coaster at Heavenly Mountain at Lake Tahoe, and at the Scandia Sacramento location, you have a Rare Miler Wild Mouse Coaster. In fact, I think it's the only Wild Mouse coaster ever produced by E&F Miler. In Las Vegas, it appears business as usual outside of some buffet closures. The Adventure Dome at Circus Circus is the only true amusement park in the Sin City, and while compact, it's a nice little park with two great coasters in El Loco and Canyon Blaster, one of the most forceful and smoothest aero coasters in existence. Plus, it has a rare collection of almost extinct Chance Rides flats. You also have the infamous Big Apple coaster down the strip at the New York Casino. I personally enjoyed this coaster for its unique layout and comical jankiness, but I know others would love to see this coaster burn to the ground. If you haven't ridden it, it's a rite of passage. Plus, you also have the Stratosphere Tower. While this attraction no longer has any coasters, the thrill rides provide a breathtaking view. The Big Shot in particular stands out thanks to its powerful ejector airtime on the launch. In Arizona, you have two options. The first is Castles and Coasters in Phoenix. This park has two coasters, Patriot, a Hopkins kiddie coaster, and Desert Storm, a Hopkins looper. I actually really like Desert Storm. It feels sort of like a jankier Schwarzkopf. It pulls some strong Gs, and the funky profiling results in some powerful laterals. Plus, it's 100% comfortable thanks to the lap bar only trains. Just 17 miles away, you have Wildlife World in Litchfield Park. This place is mostly a zoo, but it's an awesome zoo. You're able to get really close to many of the animals. But there are also a few rides, most notably a log flume that passes by monkeys and birds, and you also have the generically named Family Roller Coaster. This is a Chance roller coaster that's a step up from roller skaters, but it has a nice S-hill with airtime and laterals midway through the ride. There are also some additional mountain coasters operating as ski resorts in places like Idaho, Utah, and Wyoming, but I personally haven't been to any of these attractions to comment. Now, before you plan to go anywhere, definitely double check the park websites and social media pages. This is a rapidly evolving situation, so additional closures could be implemented with very little notice. And remember, this problem is bigger than just amusement parks. If you're sick, stay home. If you do go out, exercise caution. And lastly, do not badmouth a park if they decide to close. Believe me, it's not their choice to shut their gates and stop their source of income. They're doing it for the greater good. So hopefully the 2020 theme park season isn't too interrupted by this virus, but first society needs to return to normalcy.